see if that climbs at all. Are you all able to see my screen okay? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And to confirm, Grace, this will be posted online when we're done, so any students and classes can watch it after the fact.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and kick off. We will have this recording available afterward. Um, Again, my name is Grace Crow. I am the project coordinator for the National Food Security and Innovation Hub. Today, we're going to be talking to you about our Student Data Challenge, which is the first of its kind and hopefully many more years to come. This is a challenge based on previous ones that have been hosted by the National Data Platform with the Core Institute. And this is also in partnership with Amazon Web Services. The NAFSI Hub is brought to you by the National Science Foundation Track J, which we will hear more about briefly. I'd like to introduce our director, Dr. Kate Trout, for the NAFSI Hub to talk a little bit more about the background.
Thank you, Grace. So to kick us off, the NAFSI Hub is not just one team, but comprised of 7 different teams that have worked over the last 3 years to build high-impact solutions to address food security across our nation. This includes Crop Smart from George Mason University, Sense D team from the University of Missouri, Darren Nutrisols out of Boise State, Aqua Study out of Pratt Institute, Nourish from the University of California, San Francisco, NourishNet led out of the University of Maryland, and Cultivate IQ out of the University of Arkansas. You can read more about their solutions on our webpage, and you'll get to know the teams through our series of data challenges moving forward. This first two data challenge tracks will focus on using data and information from CropSmart and also NourishNet. And together we come together as a hub to try to accelerate innovation. Creating innovation that's connected to industry and our community needs is really hard. And we are large interdisciplinary teams that have been working on convergent science to address food security. And so we really want to take the skills that we've learned and the progress that we've made to foster more cross-sector collaboration and empower researchers, industry, policymakers, and communities with cutting-edge data tools and insights that create resilience and sustainable food systems. So even though we have a lot of progress that we've made and we build really cool data-heavy solutions, we want to keep the ball rolling and accelerate them moving forward. Next slide. So we partnered with the National Data Platform as an existing large infrastructure, but through the National Science, supported by the National Science Foundation. And we are working towards cataloging and making our data set useful to solve known gaps in data and also in our computing tools as well. So what you are actually going to work on in these student data challenges are real data challenge solutions that we've learned through creating our existing solutions and tools. So by standardizing and centralizing our data assets, NAFSI Hub enables seamless access to data-driven solutions that accelerate discovery and impact across the food security landscape. And so again, this will be the first hosted data challenge, and then in the fall, we will host another one as well. And so I'm going to hand it over to our colleague, Dr. Chen Zhang from CropSmart, to explain a little bit more about his team and what they've learned and their solution and the impetus for the track of the data challenge that will be focused on CropSmart, and then Dr. Stephanie Lansing from NourishNet. So take it over, Dr. Zhang.
Yeah, thank you, Kate. May I share my screen?
Yes, please do. I
Let
will
me
stop.
try to. Okay, I've sent a request.
You can now share, Dr.
Oh,
Chen.
okay, cool. Let me. Okay, let me. Yeah, yeah. Can you see my slides?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Chen Zhang, and I am a research assistant professor of geoinformation science at George Mason University. And today I represent the CropSmart team to give a short introduction of our system and data and some use cases for the real world operation in agriculture. And basically, CropSmart is a user-inspired digital twin system to provide the cropping decision-making services for the entire United States. And the project is led by George Mason University, and our co-PIs are from Purdue University and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, NCAR, Mississippi State, and Kansas State University. So the CropSmart Digital Twin is a digital replica of the real-world cropping system for the entire conterminous United States. And the whole system is basically powered by a variety of agricultural information data, such as the crop type mapping, the crop condition, soil moisture, and the vegetation index. And our data sources are mainly from the um, different kinds of sensors, especially the satellites like the Landsat, Sentinel, or MADIS. And the system offers three types of services: the decision ready information service, the what if tool for trade off analysis, and the decision advice service. And most functions of our system are already in operation. In 2025, we've got around 30,000 users around the world access to our data and the services through our web applications and the web APIs. So here's the user distribution according to the Google Analytics. And this is a screenshot of the CropSmart digital twin data information portal. So CropSmart offers a lot of commonly used geoprocessing functions. And today I would like to demonstrate use cases of the crop-specific statistic function. So for this function, um, I mean, traditionally, the zonal statistic for the geospatial data is simply like counting the pixels for each category over the data layer. But according to our user-inspired research, in most cases, the users are more likely to get the results for the specific crop types rather than the entire area. So what we bring to the table is a crop-specific statistic function. So the uniqueness for our function is that we run the statistic by combining the raster data layer, for example, the NDVI layer, with the crop-specific land cover data like the USDA cropland data layer or the in-season crop type mapping. So the use of this function is pretty straightforward. So this is our data portal, and the step one is adding a new data layer, and there are many options for the data products like the vegetation index, the soil moisture, the agricultural drought, land surface temperature or precipitation. Um, there are many options for our data products. And step number 2 is selecting the area of interest, which could be a administrative division, like a state or a county or any user-defined area. And the step 3 is running the statistic, and there is a option for the reference layer of crop type maps, and by default, the map will match the year of the selected raster layer in the step 1. And the output is originally a table, but the result can be visualized in multiple ways, like the pie chart or box plot like this. And here we present 2 use cases of this function in the real world operation. And the first use case is a county level analysis of within season cropland dynamics. So we select the Chico County in Mississippi as a study area, which has the diverse agricultural landscape. And according to the USDA cropland data layer, the major crop type of this area contain the like corns, cotton, rice, soybeans, winter wheat. And with this crop smart, we can easily generate the crop specific NDVI profiles for the entire year. So here is the profile for each crop type. And to be more specific, here are the individual profiles for each crop types, and each subfigure shows the unique growing pattern for the specific crops. So you can see for example, the corn starts growing earlier than the other crop types. And use case 2 is a field level monitoring of in-season crop growth conditions. And in this case, we select the Cass County of Michigan as a study area. And the details of the study area is shown on the right, which is highlighted using you see the boundary is highlighted by the USDA NAS crop sequence boundary data layer. And we had as a part of this project, and we had a field trip at the Michigan and Indiana back in 2024. And we have collected the ground truth data of mainly the corn and soybeans. And here are some photos that we took in May of 2024. And using the crop smart crop specific analysis function, we can easily detect the growth condition for corn and soybean within that study area. So on the top is the NDVI profile, and on the bottom is the VCI profile for corn and soybean. Like all the TrackJ teams, CropSmart is a 3-year project, and we still have 1 year to go. We are gonna in the last year, and we are gonna further improve the Earth observation data sources. For example, we are going to switch the data source of MODIS to WIRS for most of our vegetation index data. And also we are going to finalize the what if tool and the decision advice service. So yes, so that's my presentation for today. And I hope the crop smart data and the use cases can bring some inspirations to you guys in the data challenge. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chen, for that exciting overview of CropSmart. It's amazing work that you're doing, and it's been really cool to see the journey and all the users that you've gained across the country actually using your open source tool. So I wanted to point that out, that CropSmart is an open source tool that you can use today. All right, so we can hand it over to Dr. Stephanie Lansing from NourishNet.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And let's get it here in presentation mode. All right, so again, I'm Stephanie Lansing from the University of Maryland, and I'm the project lead for NourishNet, which is a food recovery toolbox that is working to put healthy food in the hands of the food insecure. Our goal at NourishNet is to address food insecurity and reduce food waste by streamlining the distribution of surplus food for its highest and its best use value. Additionally, in part of our work is educating consumers on waste prevention. So people both at home as well as consumers, grocery stores can really understand how to use the best use of their own resources that they're purchasing. We know that food pantry clients would really like fresh food, and right now in the US, there's 13.5 million people that do not have access to fresh food. And so we created an app called Food Loops that helps coordinate this food access, donation, and data within this space. What our Food Loop app does is someone here like Arlene, she can look at the app and see what exactly are the food pantries that are open. She can get tips of the day for maintaining her food, but she can also see what is actually available at these locations. So if her daughter is really wanting apples, she could see where apples are available. Tomatoes, she can see where the tomatoes are available. If there's apples not available and she'd like those, she can send a wish list to really understand and give her a sense of voice and agency within the food distribution so she understands and can plan for where she wants to go, what's being served there, and what her options are. We also know that there's 63,000 grocery stores in the US that can't verify the freshness of food to donate. So we created the Quantum Nose that determines the safety of donated food. This quantum nose works much like your own nose. You sniff and say, does this smell good? Does this smell good? But instead, it actually uses quantum mechanics and it uses the off gases of bacteria that may have contaminated food. So if there is no bacterial contamination, then we're all good. If there is bacterial contamination, we're able to take a fingerprint of that bacterial gas to understand not only to understand how much contamination we have and if the food is fresh enough for donation. We have large scale manufacturing, and not only do we have a handheld device that you can use, but we also have a small kind of small device that you can use and connect into a computer system that shows you again the freshness of that food. We also know that 33% of all food in the US is wasted, which produces 3% of all of US greenhouse gases. And so in our Food Loops platform, we actually provide an ability for real-time resiliency data. So someone like Mayor Hollingsworth can understand the modeling. She can get data, forecasting, and informed decision making that's happening in her municipality. It enables her to understand the real-time value of food, greenhouse gas reductions based on available infrastructure, and plan for how food distribution can really be part of not only their climate plan, but their food system resiliency plan in a certain municipality or with an NGO or an institution. So, for example, there is Linda Benn Foundation is a food pantry in Beltsville, Maryland, that rescued 73,000 kilograms of food, which is an equivalent of 100,000 meals per year that they've distributed to their clients. This resulted in avoided 49 tons of CO2 equivalents, which is equivalent to the greenhouse gas reduction of 1,000 solar panels. So really understanding how you can, what is happening in your city or your municipality, and how can you take advantage of this data and forecasting that we're doing for these institutions. We also have a large consumer education where we deliver various formats to educate and engage food insecure populations, but also young adults on college campuses. So we developed a train the trainer module where we have 5 weekly sessions working with food pantry volunteers so that they can be the ones to educate the clients coming through on product labeling, repurposing leftovers, food shopping, food storage, creating meals away from home. We have this in online and in-person formats in English and Spanish right now. We have outreach education that we've done at the university farmers markets, in the resident halls themselves, where we talk about how to sort your waste, what can be composted, what can't, how to store your food. So we have little bins that say "Eat me first," so we make sure that that food is stored in the front of the fridge. To really donate, recirculate goods on college campus, and make sure that we're creating the best use of for young adults. Then they go out, they understand how to be their own sources of food waste reduction and continue this educational process. Here's an example of some of the videos that we've created.
Did you know you have more time than you might think to safely enjoy your food before it needs to be thrown away? The secret is understanding the true meaning of date labels. This is not an expiration date. It only tells us when a product will most likely taste the best, not when it needs to be discarded. These dates are also based entirely on flavor and quality, not safety. No room for interpretation here, right? It's actually just the recommendation for peak quality, and often your food can be used for many months or even years later. There's one exception to all of this. With infant formula, always treat the use by date as the expiration date, but other food is safe to consume if handled properly until there are clear signs of spoilage. You're the only one who can decide if your food has spoiled or not, so spread the word on the meanings of these misunderstood date labels.
So really what we're doing here at NourishNet is bringing consumers into the space, adding our freshness sensor that's integrated into our Food Loops app, facilitating connections between food pantries and grocery stores, restaurants, and other places where surplus food might be located, and providing this real-time resiliency data to provide an end-to-end holistic solution to really think about the entire food ecosystem from a data management point of view, as well as getting the food to where it needs to be in the most efficient manner. So we have project investigators both at the University of Maryland as well as with ChowMatch, Linda Bean Foundation, Prince George's Food Equity Council, CSC Engineers, and Well Said Media. And here again, we're here to put healthy food in the hands of the food insecure, and we have all of our videos and handouts available at nourishnet.co. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We've been able to go over our 2 tracks and our 2 wonderful teams who are helping us kick off this challenge. I'd like to talk a little bit about some details of the challenge, go over the logistics and the schedule for you all. To start out, we'd like everyone, as soon as this webinar is over, you should feel free to go ahead and register. You can register for one or both challenges. Please do so soon as the first 50 teams will be included in the challenge. You will want to join the challenge by the kickoff April 10th, and teams are encouraged to register in groups of 3 to 5 individuals. All team members need to be registered within the NDP platform. You do not have to be part of a team to register. That is a step ahead of creating a team. And if you do try to add somebody to your team that's not yet registered, it will result in an error. So just keep that in mind as you're creating your team. No participant is allowed to be part of more than one team. One other note, you do need to be using an academic email in order to register for these services. Please reach out if you are having any issues with your email address.
And I'd like to add one more thing, Grace, while you're on this page. There will be a live stream event where you can watch the kickoff event, and we'll have a couple words welcome you to the challenge and some details on housekeeping to get you started. So that will be live streamed.
Yes, and we will follow up with that link at the end of this meeting. So in order to access the platform that you will be using to complete this data challenge, we will be using the National Data Platform. There have been data challenges run on this platform successfully, and we are excited to be joining. What you'll be able to do after the webinar today is start the onboarding module. You can do this in track 1 or track 2. It is the same onboarding module, so you do not need to complete both if you are choosing to participate in both challenges in both tracks. The data sets to be used in the challenge will not be available until a later date. Right now, that is March 27th that will be released, and you will be notified at that time if you are registered. The challenge modules will open up upon that kickoff, the live stream kickoff event. At the conclusion of that, all of the actual challenge modules will be available for teams to start working on their solution. We will be able to host some office hours for students who might have questions or be trying to troubleshoot through their solution. These will be ahead of the challenge. So this is really to encourage you guys to get in there and explore and get any of your questions ahead of time. You'll be able to request those through Calendly and work directly with Pedro, who is our platform expert. These dates are here, and the ones for this challenge will be held from these afternoon hours starting at 12 p.m. Pacific time. The final deliverable, or the solutions that you will be presenting for this challenge, will be required to be submitted on Monday, April 13th. Troubleshooting is going to be available on that Monday, but please submit your issues promptly because that will be limited to capacity, as everyone will probably be having questions as well. So get those in as soon as possible. These final solutions will be evaluated by a panel of judges over the following 2 weeks. And that evaluation criteria will be provided at the time of the challenge beginning. So get in there right at the kickoff so that you can see the rubric and criteria for judging along with all the rest of the modules as soon as it's available. Again, this is working with that same time frame. 2 p.m. Pacific and 5 p.m. Eastern time will be when that final submission deadline closes. Most excitingly, teams will receive a prize. We have $2,000 per track that each team will receive based on those who are selected after the judging period has passed. Here is a quick recap of our time frame. We start out today, March 9th, with our info webinar. Again, this will be available afterward, so you can come back to this and view instructions anytime. At this point, registration is open for the data challenges, and you may begin registering. You will also be able to start the onboarding module and explore there. Your next step would be on March 27th. Once those data sets are available, you can get in there and start exploring so that you know what type of data you will be able to use in the challenge. There will then be our kickoff event Friday of the challenge weekend. This is that live streamed event, as Kate mentioned. At this point, all teams must be registered for the challenge. That then sets us off into our challenge weekend. Throughout the weekend, participating universities might provide a space for students to join. So reach out if you are interested in your own university. And then the final solution will be due April 13th of 2026 at, again, these same timeframes, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, with the winners to be announced April 24th. I'm going to now shift into talking about the platforms. We're going to cover registration through our CI login, how to set up your profile, navigate into those challenges in the Education Hub, and then how to get those challenges added to your own dashboard by joining the challenge. If you do have any additional questions about the challenge, please email me at crowgrace@missouri.edu. And then if there are any specific challenges that you're having within the platform, Pedro is also available to email. There is documentation if you're having any issues with the national data platform. The link for that is here and is provided in some of our additional instructions. The initial onboarding module is designed so that you can go ahead and get into the data platform and learn how to use it without having access to the full challenge yet. Participants are encouraged to do this so that you are ready to go when it comes time for the kickoff event. These slides will be available afterward, and we will be going through each step to get into the onboarding challenge. To start out, you're going to log in and register with the NDP platform, the National Data Platform. Again, you need to use a university or institution account with a .edu in order to access this platform. You will use your CI login available here. Once you click your CI login, it will redirect you to this page. In step 1, you will log in using OrcID. And then you will search for your own institution or university from this drop-down menu. It will then direct you to your own university's authenticator, and you will complete steps there, which varies based on what institution you're at. Once you
Great.
have
Just a very quick
Yes.
addition to clarification on that.
Yes.
You can use OrcID or your institution, but I would encourage people not to use OrcID and to use their own institution.
Yes, absolutely. You will be able to see these steps once you're in there, and it will make a lot of sense. So once you are in the NDP platform and you've confirmed your login, you'll be able to set up your profile. At this point, you can add any additional details to your profile. This allows for other users to find you and your information. As you can see here, I have mine. If you click into this edit button on step 2, you should be able to enter details, even things like your LinkedIn profile. Once you save your profile, you are set and ready to go in the NDP platform. In order to add the data challenge and find it so that you can join, you will go over to this left side of your screen and select the Explore under the Education Hub dropdown. You will then go to the live challenges, and you will select one of these two. We have CropSmart here and NourishNet for both of the tracks. You can select again into either track to complete the onboarding module. You will then join the challenge once you are inside of the data challenge page. You can just do this by quickly clicking Join Challenge. And then you will need to create a team name and then insert the email addresses. Please pay attention to separate them with a comma and leave no blank spaces in order to send out this invite. You can, again, create a team without having all team member emails yet and can add those later on. Once you are in that data challenge, you will be able to click on into the module section and click on View. You really do want to make sure that you are reading each section of the onboarding module ahead of time, as that will give you clues into where you need to click and what kind of data sets are going to be available and applicable for this challenge. We can then go into a little bit about Jupyter Hub. On the next slides, I'll take you through some different section and pieces of this Jupyter Hub server. If you do have any questions, we have Melissa here who can answer any of them, but I will take you through how to access Jupyter Hub. Once you select launch, typically you're going to select the NF National Science Foundation platform under this, I'll go back, this launch options button here at the bottom. Once you have access Jupyter Hub, you will be able to get into the data challenge that you are currently wanting to look at. Once the real data challenge opens, you will also see a track 2 challenge that you've joined as an option here in this dropdown. But for now, to see the onboarding module, you will click through much like this screen, and you will be able to hit start to launch the server. The server does take a second. It typically looks like this while it's running, so give it just a little bit of time. But once your server initiates, this screen will appear. On the left side of your screen, there will be options to connect the module to the Jupyter Hub session. Within your folder files, you should see 2 different folders. The first one is your user storage, and the second one is for a team shared storage space. Any files that are not saved to these will be lost when you stop your server, so ensure that you are saving to these files. A couple of good practice points about shared storage. We always want to make sure that we're extra communicative about the files that we are placing and removing from the folder. You'll also want to be sure to avoid any overwriting conflicts by working in files not at the same time. And then shared space can be limited, so make sure that you're sharing frequently accessed files or data derived from your workflow. This is the drop-down menu where you will be able to find and select the workspace that you plan on working in. In this example, we'll select the onboarding module. You will then clone the module's repositories in this step here by clicking clone into current folder. After cloning that repository, you should see a folder that contains the requirements.txt file. If you do not, you can install the requirements.txt file by clicking the install requirements button. And this is a step you can only take in the repositories folder. You'll also be able to view all of the data sets that are attached to this module in this list here and add those files to your current folder by downloading them. There are some cases where the module might require you to add additional data from the catalog. In this case, you will navigate back to the National Data Platform within the module and select the data set as can be seen here. When you select this button to navigate out to that data set, this is what the screen would look like, and you can select add to add this to your module. Once you refresh your module back in your Jupyter Hub server, it will update with the new resources in your folder. Okay, were there any questions about access? You can go ahead and put those in the chat, and we'll make sure that we get to those.
Grace, we do have one question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Maria is asking if Are there any modules helping us understand how to use the various data platforms or tools?
Yes. And Melissa, please feel free to chime in. We do have the onboarding module that should really give you a good orientation to get started. Melissa, I don't know if there's any additional tools people might want to explore.
Sure. So the onboarding module is designed to help you get oriented to the platform so that when the data sets are released and when the actual challenge itself happens, you won't be struggling to orient yourself to the actual platform. So I would encourage you to complete the onboarding challenge and use the office hours or emails to reach out if you run into any problems with that. But you don't need to do anything else at this time beyond perhaps, explore the CropSmart data and tools. And everything that you need to get oriented to the data challenge itself and to the data sets will be released as modules with the data on March 27th and then with the challenge question on April 10th. So at this time, the primary focus for participants would be to get oriented to the platform through the onboarding module.
Thank you, Melissa. And then I also saw another question. Are we going to be sharing the recording? Yes, we will have this recording posted on our website so that you should be able to watch it again. Yes, thank you, Mitesh. Okay, well, I'm going to go over a couple next steps. If there are any other questions, please continue to add them to the chat. So our immediate next step would be to register. So go ahead and get registered in the National Data Platform. Then you will want to go in, as Melissa just described, and give that onboarding challenge a try. You do want to go ahead and you can start to form your team. So that would be a great way to get started, start talking to other potential team members, and get your team built. You will then be able to explore the data later on March 27th, coming soon, and then it will be time soon enough for our challenge to kick off April 10th. Here are our links for the NDP platform.
There was one more question in the chat.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the one partner and the rest of your team? Would you mind going back one slide?
Yes. Let me see.
Yes. So in order to orient yourself to the platform, it's going to be helpful to do the onboarding module with at least one partner so that you can get an understanding of how the shared storage volume works, because that way you'll be sharing that storage volume with the partner who's part of your team. If you end up doing the onboarding module with a partner and that isn't someone who ends up being on your final team, or that isn't the only person that ends up being on your final team, that's okay. So don't worry too much about your final team composition if you're just doing the onboarding module. I hope that clarifies the one partner versus the rest of your team question. And then I'll take the next question as well. You'll be given data sets on March 27th, and you can use them in answering the challenge question that you'll be given on April 10th, but you can also use additional data. I think you'll probably have more clarity about what additional data sets you'd like to use once the challenge module, the challenge question is released on the 10th. But yes, you are able to use additional data.
The beauty of the platform, right? Okay. So I will leave it on this screen. And please feel free to continue asking questions. We've got some time. where will the kickoff event take place will be paired up during the onboarding process. The kickoff event will be a hybrid live stream. So we will be hosting an event here on the University of Missouri campus in order for us to live stream it. But this is something that you can join from any campus, anywhere. That is the intent of the live stream. And then your university may or may not host in-person events related to this challenge. And then you will not be paired up in terms of being made to be part of a team for the onboarding process. That is up to you to reach out and kind of build your team out. Okay, and then Maria, what skills or programming skills are we expected to know if we plan on joining? This is a really good question. Melissa?
Yes. So be very helpful if you are familiar with Python or R. It's also going to be helpful if you have some, if you're familiar with GitHub, GitLab, or if you're familiar with Jupyter. So those are things that you can brush up on if you aren't already familiar with them, or if you are a little rusty. I would say there will be some opportunity to have team members who are less familiar with data and programming skills, but it will definitely be necessary to have those skills on your team. So I would encourage you, if you have team members who are a little less familiar, there will be some things that they can do to support the team, but you're definitely going to want to have a team where there is familiarity with R, with Python, with Jupyter, and with Git repos.
Great question.
All right, before we wrap up, I also wanted to give a big thank you to a couple of folks that made this possible. I'm going to start out with our sponsors from the National Science Foundation Convergence Accelerator Program that provided funding on top of AWS support. We've been working with the Core Institute for over a year now to get to this point, and Melissa Floka, she's just been incredible of helping cultivate all of the high impact data sets and research that's been done into the national data platform and helping steer this in the right direction to the student data challenge. So thank you to Melissa and Pedro. Thank you to Grace Crow for coordinating, and also Matesh and helping out in supporting this event. So thank you to all that have participated and getting it to this point. And then CropSmart and NourishNet for being the first student data challenges for the NAFSI Hub as well.
Thank you all so much. And thank you to all the students for joining. And we really look forward to your participation in making this a really successful inaugural event. So again, reach out. You can reach me at my email, crowgrace@missouri.edu if you have questions. And if I cannot answer it, I will direct you to a brilliant expert. We had one more quick question. Please share the links of the presentation and records in emails too. Yes, I will send out these to participants who were here today. Absolutely. Okay. And with that, I will go ahead and conclude. Thank you all so much. Have a great start to your week.
Thank you.